Hey, Jeff Anderson here today with SuperFast Flooring, and we're here with a new product line called RidgePlex. What RidgePlex is a vinyl flooring that has 50% vinyl in it and 50% limestone that gives you a nice, rigid, sturdy feel and look. It also allows you to install flooring at extreme temperatures from 0 all the way to 140 degrees. It's completely waterproof. It's 4 millimeters thick. We can install this over a subfloor that is wood, as you see today, or we can install it over a concrete subfloor. Now, when you're doing concrete subfloors, you got to ensure that the concrete has a moisture content of less than 2.5 CEM. What does that mean? It means you go get a gauge at your local store and you test your concrete, and it's just got to be less than 2.5%. And you're ready to go. If it's over 2.5%, it means that you got too much moisture. And what you don't want is moisture to be caught between the vinyl and the subfloor, because what could happen is mold can grow in there, and you don't want that. Now, what's unique about this floor, not only is it rigid, but the end joints are tap down end joints. You don't have to click the ends. You only have to click the front and tap the ends. Now that we're ready to install the floor, we know what corner we're going to start from. It's going to be left or right off of this corner. We're also going to make sure that when we're installing the flooring, that we're going to make sure that the floor is at least a 1/4 inch off the wall, and that the joints are staggered more than 12 inches apart. That means that the end joints have to be 12 inches apart from other joints. So keep that in mind. The very first thing I like to do before I start, instead of just putting the pieces together and laying the flooring down, what I like to do is just take a plank and score it. Make 3 even scores. You don't have to measure, you don't have to be precise, and make 3 scrap pieces to work with. I'm going to show you what we're going to use these scrap pieces for. And I would do maybe a few more pieces like that. And the reason for that is we're going to use this to start our first run. Alright, so we're ready to install the first run. And typically you would have this against the wall, which I'm not doing. I'm having it away from the wall, and this is the reason why. I want to ensure when I connect these 2 first pieces together that the alignment is just perfect. If they're off by a hair, as you go down the run, it will be off-centered and very difficult to install. So what I've done is I've taken the scrap piece and ensured that the tongue, which is the longer end, is facing towards you. The tongue on the second piece is facing towards you. And the first piece, the tongue is facing towards you. The male is all facing towards the wall. And what you want to do is take the first piece and click it into the scrap piece. The scrap piece is more for a guide to create you a straight line to connect the second piece. You take the second piece and you run it along the straight line. Before you're ready to tap, you ensure that this is all lined up and straight. Then you take the piece and you tap it. Now you know that the front is aligned 100%. And you want to do this all the way down to the very end with these scrap pieces. When everything is aligned, then we will take the scrap piece out and we'll place it on the front side, and we will then move the whole thing towards the wall, 1/4 inch off the baseboard. So I am at my starting point. I just finished tapping these 2 pieces together using a scrap piece to guide the end joints together. We're going to do this all the way down the run and create the first run doing exactly the same thing. Go ahead and click that back piece on. Use this as a guide. Line it up. Make sure everything's lined up perfectly straight. Tap it together. Now I know my front joints are all lined up and squared off. Now what we want to do is take this front piece with the back piece and ensure it goes onto the front side. a measuring tape and measure to ensure that this is 1/4 of an inch off. Now that you have a straight line, you can just take these pieces off and you are set to go with your first run. Now that we've got our first row lined up, 1/4 inch off the wall, we're ready for the second row. Now we want to stagger the joints. And remember, when we stagger the joints have to be 12 inches apart. Even the very first piece off the wall has to be 12 inches off the wall. Minimum of 12 inches. So I'm going to take measure here. We're going to just do 16 inches on this. And the way you measure is you measure from the tongue, because you know the tongue is going to be on the right-hand side, and the cut piece is going to be against the wall. So we're going to do about 16 inches, about somewhere around here. It doesn't have to be exact. Just going to stagger the joints anyways. And this is simply a simple score. And then a break. Tongue towards you. The cut piece to the left. And we're going to go to the other end and install it. Alright, so I'm at the other end installing the first piece that's approximately 16 inches long. We're going to go ahead and engage it in place. And then we're going to go ahead and line up the rest of the planks and look at the planks to make sure that the cores are matched up with each other. And we're just going to lay it right in place and then we're going to go right down and start installing. Okay, I went ahead and just laid my planks to ensure that the cores are all matched and it's a random look. We've already installed the first piece and I laid out the other piece just to make things easier where I don't have to keep getting up and down. So they're all ready to go. We're just going to align it into place, ensure that this is lined up straight. Tap it, you're in the place. To even it out to the end of the wall here. And voila. Now, after you've completed the floor, you just make sure that the joints are staggered. And make sure when you're putting your 1/4 round down to cover your gap, that the 1/4 round is nailed into the base molding and not to the flooring itself. Because you want the flooring to go underneath that 1/4 round and be able to move just a little bit without being constricted. And there you go. So for whatever reason you need to disengage and maybe you're moving, you want to take this flooring with you. What's great about the SuperFast RidgePlex is that you basically unclick it like we just did. Now the trick to disengaging the end joints is if you try to pry these apart, it will break the joint. So what you want to do is just slide it apart. Just like that. And they'll come right apart. Just slide it apart. You don't want to rip it apart. Now if you move into your new home and you have a run that's 30 feet, that's okay. You can go all the way up to 60 feet in length installing this floor.